Hello Year 1. Well, I hope you've watched the film of Tuesday and enjoyed it. I wonder, when the police officer got there in the morning, the detective, and he saw all the lily pads lying across the road, what do you think was going through his head? What kind of questions? What would you be asking? Pause now and have a little think. Can you come up with one question? I'm going to give you a little bit of a hand. Try using a word like what, or why, or how, or even when to start your question, and then come back. So I think I'm going to choose one of these words. I think the first thing I might say is, what are these lily pads doing in the road? So here's my word what. Now, when we're going to ask a question, because it's the beginning of a question, just like the beginning of a sentence, we still need a capital letter. And remember, when we do our W's, if it's a capital, we do start right at the top at Bounce the Brave Monkeys branch, like that, okay? What is a bit of a funny one to remember. It's a bit of a tricky word. There are different ways to remember it. You might say wahat, because that's a bit of an easy way to remember it. So, what are these lily pads doing across the road? What are these lily pads doing? Now, why would that be strange to have lily pads on the road? Where would they normally be? In the pond, that's right. What are these lily pads doing on the road? Now, that's the end of my question. Can you remember what kind of punctuation I need? That's right, I need a question mark, don't I, like this? So you start at the top here, push, pull in, down, and a little dot. Okay, what else could we ask? How about, how did they get here? That would be a good one, wouldn't it? Because that's a very strange place for them to be, but how did they get there? Did somebody pick them up and drop them off? So, how did they get here? And what do we need at the end of a question? That's right, a question mark. How about, why are they here? Could we have that as well? Why are they here? Why are these lily pads here? Now, could we think of a question with when? We could say, when did they get here? We know the answer to that, don't we? Because we know the story. We know that they arrived in the middle of the night. Okay, when did they get here? Okay, pause the video now and have a go at writing your own question and then come back. Right, I wonder if we can add just a little bit of something else to the end of our question, so an exclamation. So we could say something like, how strange, how bizarre, how peculiar. So I've got some space at the end of these questions here. I'm going to write one here, so I'm going to write, how strange. I need another capital letter. How strange. And that's an exclamation, so it needs an exclamation mark like that. Why are these lily pads here? How bizarre. That's just another word that means strange. Exclamation mark. When did they get here? How peculiar. That's another word that means strange, but it's a bit more interesting. Okay. Are there any other words that mean the same as strange? We could have How unusual, couldn't we? How unusual. Okay, can you add an exclamation onto the end of your question now and put an exclamation mark on the end? Fantastic.